Good afternoon, everybody. It's Saturday. It's Laura, your grateful, recovering alcoholic and addict. How y'all doing today? It is my son Dylan's 19th birthday today. Happy birthday. I love my son so much. And you know, although I only have gotten sober in 2018, and he was born in 2004, 2003, okay? He was born in 2003. I got married in 2004. He always would ask when he was younger, why was I born in 2003? Y'all got married in 2004. Well, the reason why was I was in active addiction and I wanted to be married on Valentine's Day. And so I thought I'd take you back a little bit on Dylan and deciding to have another baby when I was 35. He was born in 2003. My daughter was born in 98. In 2000, my mom passed away. And that's when I internalized that I was a drug addict, but never saying it to anybody else. So why the hell would I, want to have another baby in full addiction? Well, I didn't realize I was in full addiction. You see what I'm saying? I didn't realize it. So it was back in 2002, 2003. Let's see. Well, actually, I got pregnant on my birthday. So, but I was already planning on getting married, and but I had watched this video. Not a video. Excuse me. Oprah Winfrey was on one day talking about women that were older. Remember, I was 35, and I had said that I was a drug addict into my mind at 30, right after my mom died and Bailey was already born. Okay. Oh my God! Don't let me lose my train of thought. So anyway. So I was watching an Oprah Winfrey show, and it was these women were having their careers, and was on birth control before, and then trying to conceive after they had got their career going. Well, the only career I had going was I was a drug addict. You see, but anyway, when I saw that video, and remember, I get what I want. I came home, or my husband at the time, now ex-husband, came home, and I said I wanted to have another baby because my daughter, I was perfectly fine with just one child. That's all I ever wanted. And, she really was the icing on the cake for having another baby, because she always would say, Mommy, I want a sibling. Even though she had stepchildren, they were a little bit older. They're super close now, but back then they weren't. Plus the family, the kids were estranged, and that was a big shit show due to my ex-husband. But that's a different video. But anyway, so yeah, I ultimately wanted to have another baby, because people are going to watch this video and say, well, why would she want to have another baby when she was in active addiction? Well, I wanted it to make my daughter happy. Remember, I'm a people pleaser. I always wanted to do what everybody else wanted me to do, I think. And, really being scared to do what I wanted to do, because it stemmed back from me being bullied. So anyway, fast forward, we got pregnant, and we'd already set to get married that following Valentine's Day. And I'm videoing, and we ended up flying to Vegas to get married, and my best friends were there. Carrie, who I do the videos on my one girl at a time. What a Girl Needs in Recovery. I read out of that book. It's actually right here. I read this every morning for the last 3 months. So if you're not on What a Girl Needs in Recovery, go on over there, send me an invite. I'd love to have you. We got people from all over the United States, and we have people from Canada, Switzerland, Ireland, Australia, Norway. I mean, it's really overwhelming. So God bless. I'm so blessed for that. But not to get off the subject. So anyway, we fast forwarded. We've got Dylan. Dylan's 4 months old. We were getting married. And I had my friends, one friend lived in Vegas. When I went to the Motley Crue concert, she lived there. Carrie flew with me and her mom, and then my other girlfriend from California and her mom flew in, and their significant others. But, you know, you would have thought that you know, looking back now, because it is Dylan's birthday today, I would have been so happy, and you know, I had a loving husband with a successful business, a beautiful daughter, and now I've had a son. And you know, but we waited to find out the sex, because you know, we ultimately got pregnant because I kind of fast forwarded, but you know, he'd already had 3 kids, and then I had my child, so that's 4. So I wanted to do something different, and so we waited to see the sex of the baby. And at the end of the pregnancy, my doctor, I was in the room with my doctor, and I said I wanted my tubes tied if it was a boy, or if it was a girl, and if it wasn't a girl, to leave my tubes untied. And she said, "Oh, don't worry, you'll be happy." Me never saying I wanted a boy, because I really only just wanted that one, you know, and so I didn't care. And throughout the whole pregnancy, you know, I was teaching dance to little children at a place called Dance Tree in Clear Lake. And I was teaching dance to 5-6-year-olds as I was going 9 months pregnant. You know, it was better than the first time I was pregnant. I was going through probation. Second time I was teaching dance, and it's so funny. And one of my friend's daughters I was teaching, he went to Rayburn, and he saw me, but he never said anything because he was with his wife. He thought his wife would be jealous. He's that type. But he told me later. But anyway, so yeah, I didn't know I was going to have a boy. But anyway, so I had, when we did ultimately have him, you know, I was at the hospital that day. I guess it would have been yesterday, 19 years ago. And I went to Clear Lake Hospital saying, you know, I'm going to have this baby. And they were like, "No, you're not going to have it. You know, you've got 2 more weeks. Go home. You're not going to have the baby. You have 2 more weeks." So we went home. Bailey was 5, and I was 35. And I opened up the refrigerator, was making dinner, and my water broke. My water didn't break with Bailey. And my girlfriend Carrie, that I do the videos for, called. Art answered the phone, and he said, my ex-husband answered the phone and said, "I'm just listening to Laura yell at me." And I'm like, "I'm not yelling." We thought that was so funny. Anyway, I rushed to the hospital after I was there all day on the 7th. And anyway, Dylan had to have emergency. We had an emergency C-section. They had the cord wrapped around his neck. There was also there was a knot in the umbilical cord, and he was double footling breech. So they knocked my ex-husband out of the room, but it was so frustrating. I was already at the hospital that day. I guess it was the 8th. I was there that day for like a few hours. They put me up on some stuff because I told them I'm having this baby. And they said, "No, you're not." And so how they didn't know I was already double footling breech and all that, I don't know. But anyway, once they figured all that out, they kicked my ex-husband out of the room. He was already in scrubs. We were going to have this baby. And they kicked him out of the room because it was ended up being an emergency. They didn't want, you know, the baby to have brain damage or me die or whatever it was. And they knocked me out, but I was screaming. I screamed from when they took me from one gurney to the next, and my doctor told me to shut up. Next thing you know, they knocked me out. So I woke back up. It was like 1 something, but it was like 11:30 when I went into for emergency C-section, because I remembered the clock. And I was like, why was I out for so long? First I said, when I woke up, I said, not is it a boy or a girl? I said, did y'all hear that lady tell me to shut up? She goes, I'm so sorry, ma'am. And they go, it's a boy. And there was a picture, they had a picture of Bailey, looked like she was crying. I thought she was crying because I was in emergency C-section. No, she was crying because she did get a sister. That's a true story. But so fast forward to the Vegas trip. So I went to the Vegas trip. It's a beautiful child. And you think that I would have been on top of the world. But here I was going to get married on Valentine's Day. What I wanted, I had the perfect red dress. My best friends were all coming in, their mothers, because I knew my mother had passed away. And it was supposed, and you know, my friend Joel, my oldest, dearest friend, that's in Thailand right now. He walked me down the aisle. Again, I smuggled, drugs on that plane, and we went to go get his tuxedo fitted and things like that. And I was doing drugs in the bathroom, and but not with him, because he didn't like the meth. And so it was just, I was out of control. I was just spinning out of control because I hadn't dealt with the death of my boyfriend in 95 and my mother passing away at my house, brother finding her. Me and my brother were just straight addicts at this point, but we didn't know anything different. So, I felt like I was a good mom, but, again, how can you be a good mom when you're preoccupied with the little baggie that you're carrying? It's just a miracle that I didn't get, searched at the airport, and the whole time I'm flying to Vegas, I'm thinking, what if they do search me? What if I go to jail? I have 2 kids at home, 5 years old and a 3-month-old. What, but did it stop me? No, it didn't. It didn't stop me at all. And, it's just, like I said, a miracle. But, it got worse. So that night, I ran out. We flew in. It was very edgy, very tripped out. The dope I had made me uncomfortable. Did I do more? Yeah, I did more. We got the fittings. We ended up tipping the limo driver $100. This is back in 2004, and he ended up hanging out and coming and getting us in his Mercedes. He was a great, super cute, and that's another story, because what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. But I was getting to be a married woman, but I didn't do anything. But I'm just gonna keep it right there. Anyway, my girlfriend, fast forward, we got married, we did the dues and all that. And my best friend, Carrie, crashed the honeymoon. She didn't want to go home. She flew in with her mom. I can't remember the circumstances. I said, of course you can come stay with us. And boy, did she. So we ended up going to, we had a helicopter ride over 6th Street. And first we were supposed to meet them in the front, but they said they told us in the back of Caesar's Palace. They never were there, so we went up to the room. I must have had 1,000,000 candles to light. And I was doing that. And then they called. We were just like going to say, okay, F it, we're not going to go on the helicopter ride. Once you fly over Vegas, it's really not that big of a deal because you see it on the airplane. But, whatever. We did it. They finally called. They said they were in the front. So I blew out all the candles. We did the ride. Carrie shows up. And, we're fucked up by this time. And I remember I was at one of those that if I drink alcohol, I'm ready to powder my nose. And I'm out of dope. I'm out of dope now. The day before, I felt like shit and sick. They went and did roller coaster rides and did all this stuff at the Stratosphere, and I did not go because I was coming down from the meth that I did from the plane and in the tuxedo rental place. So I'm good to go. just got married, and Carrie, and me and Carrie, my partner in crime, are ready to go score. And we got into a cab. My ex was passed out at this point, and we're in the cab, asked the cab to get us, I knew exactly how to talk to whoever, whatever, whenever I wanted to get whatever I wanted. And he, was driving us away to get whatever I wanted. I don't remember what I requested at the time, but I could imagine. And got about, like, I don't know, 500 yards away from Caesars, and I said, I can't do this. I can't do this. Take me back. I still to this day writing out my amends to mostly dead people, but because I'm on step 8 to be like, I really was gonna leave my new husband for drugs on my wedding day. But thank God that God has always had his hand on me, and that I turned back around and did the right thing. Thank you, Jesus, because God only knows what would have happened to us if I wouldn't have turned us around. Oh my God, that would have been horrible. So thank you, God, for that, and thank you, guys. But, I did stay married for a while, but I ultimately was in great addiction. And then right after Dylan was born, my brother died a year and a half later. So, we'll go into that detail too. But, point of these stories are, all my family kept telling me, you need to talk to somebody, you need to talk to somebody, you need to talk to somebody. And I just kept saying, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. Well, I was an actress my whole life because I was masking the way I feel, because I wasn't pretty enough, I wasn't skinny enough, I wasn't tall enough, I wasn't smart enough. I never made straight A's like a lot of my girlfriends are super, they have no common sense, but they're straight A students, okay? I was never a straight A student, so that was another reason why I think I delved and went the way that I did with the drugs and the alcohol. But you know what? I am 54. I don't live like that anymore. I make these videos to show people that there is a better way, that if they just, I knew when I was 30 that I was a drug addict. If I would have just done something about it, if I would have just told somebody. Well, I did tell my grandmother years later, but right before she passed away. But, what the hell was she going to do about it? She told me just, you need to quit being a drug addict. And that's what I've done. But it ultimately took being called out from the person that I love the most, one of my children. So, I make this video not only for my son to tell him that, mommy wasn't perfect, but, you always had the nicest stuff, and, mommy, ultimately left daddy. If I would have been sober, probably wouldn't have left, maybe, I don't know, because I wouldn't be here right where I am today talking to you guys. And, I can't have regret. I wish him the best. I wish, everybody that I have met in my life that have met me before when I was in active addiction, and if I hurt their feelings or did anything, I'm making a living amends right now to you, because a lot of people, a lot of things that I have done, I've blocked out or said because I do have a sharp tongue. So I'm making this video today for the formal amends to anybody and everybody. And if you watch this page, you know that, I know I'm going to get backlash from people saying that I was a bad mom or this or that, but no, I'm just I was an active addiction, and I didn't know better, but I know better now, and I love my children, and I love myself. Number one, I love myself. I have a loving, doting fiance that told me he adored me yesterday after 8.5 years. So, you know, that's what is important to me in life today, and to be able to share my experience, strength, and hope. I hope you like the video. I love you guys. Happy birthday, Dylan. Bye.